Today I'm gonna talk about marijuana. The focus is usually on the positive, medical uses, legislation, and booming businesses. But there's another side what we don't hear as often. As marijuana becomes more common, it is important to understand the risks that come with it. Today I will talk about downsides, especially related to health, legal issues, and how it affects the young people. First of all, I'm gonna talk about the health risks. Then I'm gonna talk about the health issues, and then I'm gonna talk about how it affects the young people. So, let's start with health. Marijuana. It affects the brain, especially for teenagers. Using it regularly at young age can lead to memory loss, trouble concentrating, and even lower IQ. A study in GAMM psychiatry found that teens who use marijuana heavily were more likely to experience anxiety, depression, and even psychosis. Psychosis as adults. Marijuana nowadays is much stronger than it was like 90 years from now because today's products they use THC levels over 90% that makes the high more intense, but it also increases the risk of addiction and serious health effects. Now, I'm gonna talk about the legal issues and what's going on with what's going on. So in here we have a map of the United States of America. In a federal law, in the federal law, it says that marijuana is not legalized, but in some of the states it is legalized. So it is kind of contradictory because, and it creates serious consequences for the users because a person using marijuana legally in their state can still lose their jobs, face evictions, or be denied federal assistance because of using it in supposedly a legal state of marijuana. Now I'm gonna talk about some challenges that marijuana creates to the society and public safety. For example, driving under the influence of THC is dangerous because it slows the reaction time and impairs the judgment of the people when driving. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, marijuana increases the risk of car accidents. Unlike alcohol, however, there's no reliable outside test to determine the marijuana impairment, making enforcement much more difficult to know if someone is impaired or not. But for example, for alcohol, there are some tests that can be used to see if someone is impaired, but for marijuana, not. That's why marijuana is much that is worse even from alcohol because they can detect it from your system. Now I'm gonna talk about the impact on the young people and the society. In legal states, for example in Florida, more teens are using marijuana, and many believe it's harmless, but it is not. The Monitoring the Future study found that 11% of the 8th graders were using marijuana in 2023. A concern because they are developing their brains. They are not even in high school. They don't even know what is edibles, a marijuana gummy that mess up their brains. Some of them look like candy, making them easy for kids to take. Accidental ingestions of these edibles, marijuana edibles, have led to ER visits. Most of the communities that have this type of problems are low-income ones because they don't have the education of the uses of marijuana and how it comes with it. So, of all the things that I have talked about, I'm gonna make a conclusion. Marijuana today is becoming more accepted. It still brings real risks to health, to safety, and to society. I'm not trying to persuade any of you, but trying to make an awareness about what is going on and how it affects us as a society, as an American society. Thanks for listening. Now I'm gonna show my sources, how I found all these things. First, my first source was the GAM psychiatry. The persistent cannabis users show how neuropsychology decline from childhood to midlife. This was my first source. My second source was the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the marijuana impairment driving, and a report to Congress. You can find this by https www.nhtsa.gov. My third one is MIECHRI Johnson, monitoring the future national survey results on drug use from 1975 to 2023, secondary school students. And my last one is the University of Michigan Institute for Social Research. And you can find this as https monitoringthefuture.org. Thank you so much.